So, good afternoon. Hola, buenos dias, bonjour, comment ça va? We are now going into the second session of the day, which is called A Conversation with GEO Principals, Deriving Value from GEO. This is an opportunity for you to discover the role of Earth observations by some of the 100 plus countries in GEO, and learn about investments and programs that are planned or that are already in progress. If you want to put some questions to the speakers, you can put GEO Week 2020, all one word, in slido.com, and you can ask some questions, and we'll moderate those questions at this side. And to get started, our opening speaker is David Harper, who is Director General of the Monitoring and Data Services Division, MDSD, within Met Services Canada. So over to you, David.
Okay, thanks, Stephen, and it's a pleasure to be here. As you said, I'm the Director General of Monitoring and Data Services for the Meteorological Service of Canada, which is a branch within Environment and Climate Change Canada. I also serve as Canada's GEO Principal. I'm responsible for leading the collection and management of meteorological, climatological, hydrometric, and environmental data in support of water, weather, and climate services in Canada. It includes the management, design, operations, and renewal of our federal upper air, surface, marine, hydrometric, lightning, radar, and satellite receiving station networks. So we operate at a budget of between about 120 to 140 million per year, with over 600 scientists, engineers, technicians, and administrative staff. So EO is very important to me, both in situ and space-based. My directorate QAs and QCs about 1 million observations a day to support numerical weather prediction and flood forecasting. In addition, we leverage an additional 12 million observations a day to support numerical weather prediction. Most of this EO data, which is space-based and openly shared between different countries. If we go to the next slide, Canada participates in approximately 20 GEO activities, which provides us with many benefits, including access to international expertise, leading-edge scientific discussions with specialists, the ability to influence international best practices, access to data support and research, and national operational efforts. And through collaboration with experts from other countries and data sharing, we increase our knowledge to improve national policies and evidence-based decision-making. GEO also provides us with the ability to showcase Canadian private sector capacity and highlight S&T developments. I think the move to incorporate industry into GEO was a good one, motion strongly supported by Canada along with US and Australia. I really think it's revitalized GEO and allows us to better innovate to solve our problems. As GEO Principal, we're trying to connect and better develop our national community and increase our GEO engagement. We had an excellent delegation in Canberra last year, bringing industry, a trade mission along. It was a fantastic event for Canada. We contribute leadership to 3 of the GEO flagship initiatives, GEO GLAM, GEO BON, and GEOS4M, which I'll feature today. We currently have 2 representatives on the GEO Work Program Board, and we participate in a AmeriGEO Coordination Working Group, and we recently contributed 2 speakers and a moderator to a successful 2020 Americas Symposium. If we go to slide 3, as I mentioned, the flagship initiatives. First, GEO GLAM, Canada's Agriculture Department, Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, continues to employ leading-edge space-based EO technology to improve our understanding of health and diversity of Canada's agricultural landscape. Our agricultural remote sensing scientists use optical and radar imagery to provide annual space-based crop inventory for Canada, which has been operational since 2011. This initiative, of course, supports delivery of timely and value-added information not only to the Department of Agriculture, but also to other federal departments, non-governmental organizations, universities and colleges, provinces and territories, and the private sector and public. By participating in GEO, Canada gains access to other nations' science data and tools to help improve our own national science and agricultural monitoring programs. We recently completed an international project under GEOGLAM joint experiment for crop assessment and monitoring that involved 25 partners from 16 different countries. Here we provided leadership in research, development, operationalization, and international capacity development of SAR-based methods for crop monitoring. Second is GEOBON. We are delighted to welcome GEOBON's recent headquarters move to Canada from Germany, and are grateful to the Quebec Centre for Biodiversity Science, who will host GEOBON in collaboration with its partners. As you know, Canada has one of the largest land masses in the world, with varying landscape and a large diversity of species across the country. With multiple partners, our Canadian government is working to better understand, monitor, protect this biodiversity. And the co-chairs of the open-ended working group of the Convention on Biological Diversity, so we can support preparations for post-2020 global biodiversity framework. So lots of work going on there. Canada holds the co-chair role for GEOBON and derives multiple benefits from working with the international community to enhance the management and dissemination of biodiversity observations and information. The third, Canada receives is the Global Observation System for Mercury. Of course, Canada receives the vast majority, over 95% of anthropogenic mercury deposited into our environment from external sources, and participates in a broader international conversation to help reduce global emissions of mercury and decrease deposition in Canada. Canada became the steering committee member of the Global Observation System for Mercury in 2019 through Environment and Climate Change Canada and its involvement in Minamata Convention on Mercury. As a world leader in scientific understanding of mercury in the environment, Canada shares their monitoring experience and capacity with our fellow nations. Lastly, just to mention, it's not on the slide, but I'd like to highlight recent collaborative work our health officials have completed with some of our key EO departments, including the Canadian Space Agency, Environment, the Canadian Centre of Mapping and Earth Observation, and Stats Canada, to map COVID-19 situational awareness and to explore COVID-19 determinants for better monitoring and informing response efforts. Canada has shared this COVID-19 experience with GEO's health community of practice and values the discussions and networking opportunities provided through GEO. The next slide. So I, with my colleagues from the Canadian Space Agency, Eric Laliberté here, and Eric Lubier from the Canadian Centre of Mapping and Earth Observation, are currently leading the development of a long-term space-based Earth observation strategy for Canada. So this strategic plan addresses the full value chain, the full EO value chain, from key missions to ground segments, data storage to analytics, to the downstream use and data science associated with Earth observation. Fundamental to this strategy, we've set up core principles, core guiding principles, which include open data access. This is fundamental to our strategy. Whole of government approach, so that we're all rowing together. Partnership both domestically and internationally. We realize that given our small tax base and large landmass, we need to partner internationally to help advance EO. And of course, we're promoting complementarity with in situ monitoring, which is a key principle. So through this plan, we really want to unlock our existing data, make sure that we've got the data scientists and the analytics platforms to fully capitalize on our data, and we want to advance new missions that help monitor the Earth. This we see as important, both to serve our climate change, as well as help stimulate the economy through investments in our high-tech sectors as part of our post-COVID economic response. If we go to slide 5, Canada is invested in driving information from EO to serve our essential programs and services and international commitments such as SDGs. So we're going to continue to increase EO data for decision making, working through GEO. We aim to strengthen our international partnerships where it's advantageous to leverage common goals and capabilities and opportunities. And GEO provides that forum to do that. We'll continue to engage with AmeriGeo in key areas. We recently contributed again to the GEO Trust Fund this year, so we're very proud to make that contribution because we believe strongly in the work that GEO is together we're leading. And you know, through our one thing I want to emphasize and thank our Canadian GEO Secretariat and in Carla Schmidt, who leads this, as well as Shannon Kaya, are really bringing together our other government partners. We're working to spread the news, get industry more involved, get provinces and territories more involved, and really coordinate our efforts to make our contributions to GEO and the international community strong. So I think with that, I'll end. Is that 6 minutes?
We'll give you that. You may be a wee bit over. That was great.
Thanks.
So look, I just have a quick question. You talked about, you know, quite a significant contribution to GEO, 20 different GEO activities, 3 of the flagships. We need to get you into GFOI as well, by the way. EO for Health, EO for EA was on the bottom of the screen, GEO Value. And then you made the statement about, you know, the small tax base, but the large landmass, and about the need to partner internationally. Is GEO a place to do that? Is it set up to help you do that? Do you make use of it to do that?
It is. I think over 99% of our Earth observations to support numerical weather prediction come from other countries' data services. So it is, and there's a move to increase in situ monitoring to support numerical weather prediction across Canada. We're at our max in terms of, as I mentioned, we do have a big budget to manage in situ data, but there's a limit to that in terms of pushing it to more and collecting more data. So we're heavily reliant on the GEO community for other data sources to help monitor our landmass. And key is working through GEO. That's where I met Stephen Volz from NOAA and other folks from UMETSAT and ESA, and together we're collaborating on looking at a new mission, an Arctic observing mission that will monitor greenhouse gases and air quality over the Arctic, as well as provide weather imagery and perhaps space weather. So through those connections, through GEO, we've built those partnerships and are advancing, hopefully advancing missions that will make a difference to Canada and the global community.
Fantastic. That's I might come back to you for a story on that at some point. Yeah. That's really good to hear. Thanks a lot, David. I'm just going to set my next one. So our next speaker is Yolanda Gonzalez Hernandez, who is from Colombia, and she's the Director General of the Institute of Hydrology, Meteorology and Environmental Studies, called IDEAM. And this will be done, Yolanda will speak in Spanish, but my colleague Diana will give us, for those who are not native Spanish speakers, she will be giving us a short translation after each slide. Yolanda, are you there? I see lots of EDM people, but I don't see Yolanda.
Yes, hi, Stephen. Thank you. Sorry, but Mrs. Yolanda is having some issues with her connection. She's actually in the island of San Andres due to the hurricane, so she's trying to find a better spot for internet. Can we present after Costa Rica?
Let's do a bit of international diplomacy here then. Is Costa Rica willing to trade with Colombia? Okay, the man from Costa Rica, he say yes. Okay, no problem. So we will move to Rafael. So Rafael Monge is from Costa Rica, as you've just heard me say. He's the director of the National Center of Geo-Environmental Information, SENIGA, which is a unit of the Ministry of Environment and Energy. So, Rafael, you are well known to many of us in GEO. I'll hand it over to you now.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I hope you all can hear me well. Indeed, we are in a complicated situation in the region with this hurricane, and I understand, Yolanda, that you may be very busy right now and having some trouble. Here in Costa Rica, we have a lot of rainy during these days. Hello to everyone. Hola, bonjour. Thank you for the invitation to participate in this panel at GEO Week. Hello to everybody around the world who has joined this live stream, and also to those who will be watching this in the future. Special compliments to my fellow panelists. It's a pleasure to be with you today and learn from your experiences and so many different characteristics that our countries have and how we approach to the different issues related to the use of Earth observations. We're very pleased that we can convene using technology in this year's GEO Week in a moment where humanity faces a turning point that is leading to new ways to continue with our lives on Earth. We'll see how the future of GEO goes now that we're in this situation with the global pandemic and everything getting more virtual, and everybody is getting quite a little bit more connected somehow using technology these days. I want to take advantage of this time to tell you about how Costa Rica is leveraging Earth observations and our membership in GEO to address our main challenges in sustainable development and take advantages of the opportunities that brings the most recent advances in Earth observations technology and data processing to support decision making. Can we move to the next slide, please? Inspired by GEO's vision, Costa Rica is developing the National Land Use, Land Cover, and Ecosystems Monitoring System that we call CIMOCUTE, which has grown to become a comprehensive, multi-purpose, and multidisciplinary monitoring system that supports various decision-making processes. In 2020, Costa Rica has improved capacities in the use of Earth observations in different areas, including estimating forest-related emissions and carbon storages, mapping biodiversity, ecosystem services, and essential life support areas, monitoring land use and land cover dynamics nationwide and in relation to strategic commodities in productive landscapes, and monitoring the expansion of urban cover and the spread of informal settlements. The support of the GEO community has been a key factor to improve capacities and integrate our country with new opportunities and resources to develop our objectives. This is shown in our participation in different initiatives in which we are involved with the GEO community that I'm going to show next. Please, next slide. First, I want to tell you about this project in 2020. We continue working with the project improving linkages between Earth observations and ecosystem services models with the Natural Capital Project, which started in 2018 with funding from NASA's and GEO Work Program, and later in 2019 obtained support by the GEO and Amazon Web Services Cloud Credits Program. This project has already seen significant success in uncovering new information about ecosystems and biodiversity. The results of this work will be used to produce generalized models for linking Earth observations, biodiversity, and ecosystem services at local and regional scales that can be applied across Costa Rica and ultimately extended to other parts of the world. On October 27, we presented these results in a virtual workshop to an audience of more than 150 attendees from Costa Rica and 30 other countries around the world. We got a great support from the GEO Secretariat. Diana helped us a lot with communications, and of course, Mr. Gilberto Camara was part of the panelists in this session, and you can see in the picture in the slide. The next slide, please. This year, we presented a project that was selected as one of the 32 projects that are being supported by the GEO and Google Earth Engine program, where we are building capacities with Earth observations, data science, and generating new methodologies to detect deforestation, forest degradation, and forest restoration, to monitor and report CO2 emissions, and develop an early warning system that allows generating information in the shortest possible time on illegal activities related to deforestation. More than a dozen national and international organizations have joined this effort that is expected to deliver and share new knowledge about how best use Earth observations to monitor forest dynamics in the tropic. In this project, we're very much involved with Silva Carbonell and GFOI, the GFOI initiative in the development of this process, and also when we're ready to share this new knowledge with other countries in the tropics to use also these results that we're hoping to get. Next slide, please. We also by the GEO and UN Habitat. Thank you. To participate in the initiative for the development of the Earth Observations Toolkit for Sustainable Cities and Communities to help deliver on SDG 11 and the new urban agenda. With this participation, we aim to develop expertise in the automatization and of the analysis of Earth observations with the inclusion of artificial intelligence, algorithms, formulation, as well as machine learning for the spatial data processing to generate SDG indicators, support multi-level efforts and coordination on spatial and urban planning, and enhance decision-making processes at municipal and national levels, providing institutions and local governments with the required key information. This is also being worked in the framework of our Simocute monitoring system in Costa Rica. Next slide, please. Another important topic, and Canada also mentioned this, is Costa Rica also is participating actively in the AmeriGeo community. This year, we contributed to the 2020 America Symposium in a joint endeavor with UNGGIN Americas and AmeriGeo, which delivered the Aguascalientes Declaration with the goal of bringing together geospatial information for decision-making in the Americas. This event helped the ministries and many organizations within the country to become more aware of GEO's work and impact, and also it has promoted a movement of integration and collaboration between key stakeholders in the region. Next slide, please. Also during this year, Costa Rica also consolidated the Mapping Nature for People and Planet Partnership, also known as the Big Enchilada, that brings together scientists and policy experts to harness Earth observations to identify essential life support areas, or ELSAs, where nature-based actions can safeguard key biodiversity and ecosystem services. Next slide. Led by the Ministry of Environment and Energy of Costa Rica, together with UNDP, this partnership has created a scientific framework and decision support system to identify these key areas where nature-based actions have to take place. Please, next slide. This project initially piloted in Costa Rica and has evolved to other countries like Colombia, Kazakhstan, Peru, and Uganda. And we're also planning to evolve this approach in 2020 into the sea level. We hope to bring advances in this for the next few weeks. And this initiative, we at the Ministry of Environment received the GEO Award in the member category announced yesterday. This recognition motivates us to continue working hard with the support of GEO and under the framework of the GEO Work Program, flagships, initiatives, and activities on delivering new, innovative ways to use Earth observations for understanding global changes and designing effective responses for humanity's current and future challenges. Next slide, and thank you very much for your attention and for all the support of the GEO community during this year. There's my handle on Twitter if you want to follow up the conversation there. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. So that was like an advertisement of how to make best use of GEO. Following on from what David said, it was really nice to see that you've responded to the three major calls. We've had 5 or 6 calls in the last 18 months, and you've responded to 3 of them, and obviously been successful with AWS, Google Earth Engine, and the EO Toolkit. So that's fantastic to see, and congratulations on your SDG award. Very, very well deserved. So great to see you making progress. I am going to just check the status with Colombia for now. I'm presuming, because I still don't see Yolanda, and I had a message saying, can we ask Morocco to go next? So if that's okay with you, Driss?
It's okay. Did you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yes.
I can see you
Okay.
and hear you. So let me just introduce you. Driss El Hadani is the GEO Principal for Morocco. He's Director of the Royal Centre for Remote Sensing, which is CRTS, but CRTS is actually the French acronym, if I'm right, for Télédétection. So Driss, nice to see you again, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Stephen, for this opportunity to share with you what we are doing in the field of geoinformation, EU data for development, and to share with our colleagues from the other countries our experience. Well, as you may know, CRTS Morocco, in fact, was one of the first members of the Group GEO when it was launched in 2001, 2003, and our Minister of Science and Education participated in this meeting, and then we started actively participating to the GEO plenaries since 2005. First, I will share with you what we are doing using Earth observation data for different kind of projects. I will call the mission of the center, etc., and then share with you some ideas on how we benefit, how we interact with the GEO. Next slide, please. The Royal Center for Remote Sensing, next slide please. The Royal Center for Remote Sensing is a governmental institution that was created 30 years ago. Next slide please. And we was an institution that is created within a global vision of the government to make space as a tool for development. And the strategy is based on a gradual approach that will constrict the space and integrate it progressively in the sector. The objective is to respond to the society needs through technical support given to government, institutions, private sectors, etc. And we based this on 3 major actions. First, international cooperation and partnership with key elements or key actors in the sector to implement our strategy or to implement this vision. The second is the a continuous and strong support provided by the government and the institutions involved with us in this process, and a space application driven approach. Our objective is to make space as operational as possible and to make it as a tool to contribute to the socio-economic development. Next slide, please. To do this, I have to share just with you some milestones in the development of space activities in the country. As I said in the beginning, the CRTS was created first in 1988 as the first institution working in space, and then after we launched a microsatellite in 2001, and then we have contribution or participation to different projects like the Galileo Consortium and also GEO, etc. And all this was coroned by the launch of the 2 satellites, Moroccan satellites, Mohammed 6A and B, in 2017 and 2018, and they are now operational. Next slide. This approach is based on the missions and the roles of the CRTS. First one is to develop operational uses of satellite data of space technology in different economic areas of the country, and the management of natural resources and the development of the use of these resources and the conservation of these resources. The second mission is to facilitate access to satellite data and imagery. So every kind of users, ministries, private sectors, research institutions, development agencies go through CRTS to access to this data, so we set up the required infrastructure for this. Also, the development and the reinforcement of the national scientific and technical capabilities through a training program that we have established for more than 15 years. And up to now, we have trained more than 3,000 people from different institutions of the country and also from other countries in the region, mainly African countries. Also, the scientific research is one of the components we are working on. So we are developing the R&D projects in cooperation with different universities in the country, and also we are participating to different projects like the HV 2020 in Europe, or in bilateral cooperation with CNES in France, with NASA in some years ago, with ISRO right now, etc. We also work through the promotion and of the awareness of space, the importance of space. We have been organizing several conferences, seminars, workshops, national level, regional level, international level. The last one, for example, was this GLEC conference on the space for emerging countries, which was a very successful event we have organized in cooperation with IIF and CNES. The aim of this is to raise awareness and to make it possible to create partnership with and also one of the rules is to participate to international organization and to foster cooperation with these organizations and also on the bilateral level. Next slide, please. This space is made available to different sectors in the country. We have, during the last 10 years, a very strong initiative that was launched by our government. For example, the Plomar, which is a strategy to develop agriculture, the national strategy for sustainable development, water strategy, which aiming at saving water and managing the use of water during this period. There is a huge program for geological mapping. We are contributing with the ministry part of this, etc., etc. And space is one of the components. EU is one of the components to support these programs. Next slide, please. Well, based on this, our expectations or our connection with GEO go through 5 or 6 points that I would like to share with you. This is an opportunity to share growth practices and benchmark experiences and scale them across different local contexts across the region also. It's an opportunity for us to network with other users and stakeholders involved in EU activities, to get visibility and recognition through the participation to different activities with GEO and with other international organizations. Next slide, please. To link with important EU projects over the region on international level, mainly for the Aramid region, for Africa region, for Middle East region, etc. To benefit from the opportunities that are offered to reinforce national capacities and also to have a very good access to regional marketplace, and also an opportunity to be in touch or to be informed on funding opportunities that could help us to set up projects. And if you want, like maybe later I can share with you some experience that we have had with some projects that we have developed within the framework of cooperation with the World Bank, for example, with the ESA, with other partners in the region that are using satellite data to answer, for example, the use of water for irrigation, how satellite data could help. And we have developed a very operational platform in this. Satellite data was also used to support authorities, governmental and local, for disaster management, in flooding, for example, for earthquake management, for risk evaluation, We are editing also the different supports to assist and to support Ministry of Agriculture for the agriculture campaign, for drought monitoring, for forecasting the production of different kind of cereals, etc. Why? This is some ideas that we have to share with you on projects and our contribution or participation to GEO, and I think that we will have the opportunity during the discussion to develop more these issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, another fantastic presentation. That's quite extensive training you've been providing. I'm interested in your. Do you have a lot of private sector engagement in Morocco with your work?
Yes, I think there is some new actors that are, in one side, appearing as new users of satellite data. We have small SMEs that are asking data for different kind of projects, for example, for land management, for real estate projects, etc. And also there is an emerging startups using satellite data to answer some needs. For example, we are working with a new startup using artificial intelligence and deep learning for cartography. They are trying to develop the service in the country. Others that are developing other applications, for example, combining satellite data with the in-situ information to provide the guidance and information for our farmers, for example, how to use water, how to use fertilization, etc.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Raphael, there's a question that's come in for you via Slido, and it says, would you say that Earth observation is helping Costa Rica meet the Paris Agreement goals on climate adaptation and mitigation?
Yes, thank you for the question. I saw it on Slido, and the answer is definitely yes, and especially for the forest sector, or the AFOLU, agriculture, forest, and other land uses. And Costa Rica is working pretty close with FAO, the Civic Initiative, GFOI, flagship to implement the RED strategy, Costa Rica, the RED strategy related to the reduction of deforestation and forest degradation. And this work is completely related with Earth observations. We're even developing a new methodology, the sample-based area estimation methodology, to use it for improving our reference level in this case. But more than all these technical terms, we're using to have more transparency and to have people more empowered with this information, not only to report to international commitments, but also to deliver on information that people can use in the territory in order to improve their conditions. And we need also to improve more on other areas related to our decarbonization plan on the use of Earth observations, because we know there's a lot of opportunities, but we need more hands to do all the things that we want to do at the same time. Thank you.
So hopefully, I mean, all of these partnerships you have bring more hands, because you have a lot of partners like UNDP, National Geographic, and many of the other agencies. So I presume that's part of your partnering approach.
Yeah, actually, that's our strategy, because as you can see, Costa Rica is a small country, not like Canada with a lot of territory, a lot of resources. And we have offices, or small offices, with not a lot of experts. And what we do is we motivate other agencies, like PRIA's laboratory, that is an academic agency, or other academy, to work with us in achieving the objectives that we have as a government, state, as we are, and look for opportunities abroad in order to get those resources. But that means that we also need to manage them. And one important thing is that we need to be able to implement this, to build the capacity in order that we can do these things by ourselves and not with the need of international cooperation. That is something that we need to develop. And as I was saying, I want to have a lot of people here that can be involved in different areas to be getting all this knowledge into action in our territory.
So I might come back to you on that point, more framing it as national GEO. So Canada has a national GEO office, and Driss has talked about the sectoral strategies in Morocco. So I'll come back to all of you on that. I think we now have Yolanda, who is able to join us. Are you there, Yolanda? Oh, she was, and now she's disappeared again. So, okay, while we wait on Yolanda, who obviously has some poor connection issues, David, when you spoke, you talked about better connecting with the national community. Those were the words you used. And you also talked about the National GEO Office. Could you just tell me and let the audience know what have been the challenges in sort of trying to set up a national GEO, and what are also the opportunities in line with everything you've previously said?
For us, for a few years we struggled with bringing folks together and motivating folks to participate in GEO. We seemed to tackle it just prior to GEO Week, in a sense of, okay, we've got to get organized. Let's do this. This happens with some international fora. Since I've taken over as principal, I made sure that we've had staff and are organized to support the activities and bring folks together throughout the year. And I think that's been the big difference. So we really we're pulling together what the initiatives that we're working on. We're reaching out to industry. So subsequent to GEO Week last week, we had an industry debrief, and we engaged them to prepare for the next GEO. We actively prep and have a working group from contributing departments and agencies that help support the involvement. So I think it's the difference that we've tried to put in place over the last year is have dedicated staff to support it, but make sure that there's ongoing engagement throughout the year, so that it's not just a one-off, and then better kind of collate and bring together our activities and initiatives so that we understand what we're doing. And I think this is even more so than last year. This is a year where we have a better grip on how we're participating with GEO and the benefits that we're deriving from it. So I'm pretty pleased about the progress. And again, I just want to underscore that the move to bring in industry, there's lots of excitement there. The ability to plug them into an environment where they see how EO is supporting policies and decision making, and where countries are going within that regard is very important. So I would just say dedicated staff, secretariat. We've got very competent people, and in sustaining the effort year round and making sure that there's a continual engagement has been key to our success this year.
So thank you. I think that's a really important message, that ongoing engagement. And I think we at the GEO Secretary, we need to learn from that as well, because that's been our approach as we come towards plenary. We have 112 countries now, and we go boom, and we want to bring everyone in, and we do need to have it more sustained. So I think that's really great. And I'd just like to say a big thank you as well, because Canada, we got your 100,000 as part of the GEO Pledge campaign. So that's been up there as well. So thanks again for that contribution for another year. So Yolanda, are you with us? I can see your name. I cannot see your face. Are you there? Hello? Okay,
yes,
I think technology is...
Yes, Steven, sorry, we are trying to connect. This is Yolanda. She's has been trying to connect, but the internet is failing in San Andres. Regretfully, I have her here in the phone. She wanted to greet you and also to explain what is happening. So, directora, si quieres, puedes entonces saludar. Aquí te tengo en altavoz para que todos te puedan escuchar.
Muy buenos días para todos. Al doctor David Harper, director general del Servicio de Monitoreo de Datos de Canadá, al doctor Dries Halmin, director del Centro de Teledetección de Marruecos, al doctor Rafael Monge, director del Centro Nacional de Información Ambiental del Ministerio de Ambiente y Energía de Costa Rica, nuestro moderador, el doctor Steven Ramach. Mi nombre es Yolanda González, y actual directora general del Instituto de Hidrología, Meteorología y Estudios Ambientales de Colombia, IDEAM, punto focal GEO para Colombia. Espero ante mis palabras se encuentren bien de salud a todos ustedes y a sus familias en este difícil momento que vive el mundo entero ante la pandemia de COVID. Les hablo hoy desde el área operativa de San Andrés y Providencia. Me encuentro en sala de crisis ante el tránsito del huracán ETA, uno de los huracanes catastróficos de los últimos años que ha transitado por el mar Caribe colombiano. Afortunadamente no tenemos víctimas humanas, afectaciones en la infraestructura sí se han presentado y lamentamos todos los impactos que se están presentando en Centroamérica. Estamos por orden del señor presidente y el ministro de Ambiente desde hace varios días antes de que este huracán se desarrollara con mayor fuerza. En nombre del señor ministro de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible de Colombia, el doctor Carlos Eduardo Correa, quisiera extender un saludo fraternal y de agradecimiento al secretario general de GEO, al doctor Gilberto Cámara, a los GEO co-chairs actuales, doctor Manvit Moffett de Sudáfrica, al doctor Steven Bosch de la NOAA, al doctor Hawan White y al doctor Patrick Child, y ha estado con todo su equipo de trabajo, quienes a través de los años han apoyado al gobierno de Colombia en la implementación y puesta en marcha de diferentes iniciativas que han contribuido al desarrollo técnico y tecnológico de mi país. Como pueden ver, he intentado entrar varias veces al evento y ya no ha sido posible. Les agradezco, me disculpen, dadas las condiciones de conexión, y me permitan que el doctor Andrés Felipe Marmolejo, el asesor de cooperación internacional, haga la presentación en nombre de IDEAN, en nombre propio de Colombia. Muchas gracias.
Yolanda. Hola, Yolanda. Can you just stop? We just need to do the translation. You need to speak much less so we can do the translation, please.
Yes, Steven, just to clarify, she wanted to greet everyone, and also she was explaining the connections problem. So she wanted for me to make the presentation in order to have a better connection and a better speech.
Okay, perfect. So we only have 12 minutes left. So Andres, if you can start now, that would be fantastic. And say muchas gracias to Yolanda.
Okay.
Sí. Qué pena que no, es muy rápido, sí.
Okay, Andres, on you go. Okay, Andres, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Steven. So hi everyone, and sorry again for the delay and for the troubles with Mrs. Yolanda connection. But well, first I would like to tell you that IDEAM is the GEO Focal Point for Colombia. Actually, is the institute that articulates and manages GEO actions across the country. IDEAM is a public institution that provides technical and scientific support for the national environmental system. Also, IDEAM is in charge in Colombia of generating the knowledge and producing reliable and consistent and timely information on the current state and changing nature of natural resources and the environment in Colombia. IDEAM also facilitates the definition and development of environmental policies and decision making by the public and private sectors and citizens. As well, I would like to mention that the Instituto Geográfico Agustín Codazzi, that is the IGAC, also acts as the alternate focal point for GEO, and this synergy allows to generate different functions of cartography in the country. Well, we would like to also mention that for IDEAM, we work among a lot of national entities and entities. We involve in this initiative not only entities of the environmental national system, that would be the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development and other institutes, scientific institutes, but also we work with other sectors as the Ministry of Agriculture and also the National Planning Department. Also, we work with some universities and the private sector, and this involvement is really important for us due to the fact that this is the way in which we can ensure the correct articulation of all the initiatives of GEO in Colombia. So for this, I would like to mention that the strategy of Colombia GEO works with 4 important pillars. These are advocate or fomentar, engage or involucrar, and deliver or difundir, and challenges that are desafíos that we have in this strategy. So actually the what we wanted to explain, it's like the process that we have with these 4 pillars. So for starters, in the advocate pillar, from IDEAM, we have an active participation, and we try to have the best interinstitutional articulation, trying to advocate the participation of all the stakeholders that we just mentioned in the previous slide. In this interinstitutional participation, we have the academy, we have the private sector, we have different sectors that guarantee the best way of managing all the information that we can work with GEO. So with this, what we try to do is to involve the key institutions, so we can have the best acting in among GEO. For the second pillar, we have engage, that is involucrar, and for this, what we do in IDEAM is that we have some working tables where we try to manage on the different programs that we have in GEO in Colombia, so we can have a working plan with each program, and we try then to involve the different institutions, so we can have the best way of having actions on GEO.
Andres, can you do it in about another 3 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. So, well, just to sum up, after that we have the deliver pillar, and for this, what we try to do is to make real the working plans that we have in these working tables with all the institutions, and for this we make a follow-up at IDEAM, trying to guarantee the actions that we plan in these working tables. And after that, we have the challenges, and the challenges were, well, they are always present in this type of processes. So what we try to do is that we make a list of all the challenges that we find in the way of accomplishing all the actions that we establish on the working plan, and we try then to solve them in these working tables. So these are the 14 programs that we have in Colombia, in which we work separately with different institutions, and we also try to have from IDEAM the correct articulation between all these programs. And for us, it's really important working on every one on each of them, and we're trying then to start different programs in order to make bigger the actions of GEO in Colombia. And last but not least, we wanted to take advantage of this opportunity and present to everyone the first World Virtual High Mountain Summit that would be focusing on monitoring systems of the high Andean forest, paramos, and glaciers. This event is in commemoration of the International Mountain Day that is in December 11. This event will be from the 9th of December to 11th of December, and we will have then an academic and scientific agenda. So we wanted to invite everyone and all the audience to this event. It will be a virtual event where we're going to have presentations and panels among all regions.
Thank you very much, Andres. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Andres Felipe Marmolejo, who heads International Affairs at IDEAM, and thank you for standing in with all the technical difficulties. We really appreciate it. So now, in 1 minute, could you, I have a question here that I put to all of you. If you were talking to a new country in GEO, what's the one thing you would suggest they make the top priority to get the most out of GEO? How to benefit from being in GEO? And you're welcome, whoever has the answer first, you're welcome to go.
I would say quickly that GEO will blow your mind because there's a lot of things going on, and it depends on your country priorities. If you have great biodiversity, or you care about water, or you care about any issue in the GEO community, you can find a lot of science and knowledge to work on.
Okay, Driss? Monsieur El Hadani, are you there?
Yes.
What would you say?
Yes, I said that one of the most important things that we could maybe put on the table for this is that GEO is a platform to support scientific research and to enable people to have access to a very large community where they can share practices, good practices, we can access to data, etc. I think this is one of the important argument that could help people to join GEO. On the other side, I take this opportunity maybe to make, let's say, recommendation maybe to GEO Secretariat that we need to have more visibility, because GEO is now being so large and so huge that it's not easy for someone who is sitting into this community for this time to find himself and to have easy access to all services. I think this is one thing which is important to say. And also, I think that a lot of projects or approaches that are promoted by GEO still to be on a scientific level. It's important to translate it to a very operational level. And I'm sharing with you our experience in Morocco, that people in different ministries need very specific information, very specific tools that they can use immediately. And I think that this gap between scientific and operational should be also one of the priorities to work on with the GEO community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Very useful points. And we'll take some of those offline. David, in a minute.
After extolling the benefits of GEO, I would give them your business card and say, contact Stephen on how you can get better involved. I think it's an important role that the GEO Secretariat plays internationally. I think the benefits, have been outlined by all the folks, and just want to acknowledge your collaboration capacity and the fact that you bring together so many folks from around the world to contribute to GEO science, data sharing, information sharing. So it's I'd give that country representative your card.
Thank you very much. So the work of the GEO Secretariat, and then the last word to you, Andres. Can you keep it short?
Yes.
What would you say to a new country?
Yes, I would say that I think the most important thing is to organize the priorities of in the country. GEO is a universe where you can find science, technology, biodiversity, knowledge, etc. So you should definitely organize your priorities, review all the stakeholders with whom to work, and with this start working plans to make the most of GEO, because GEO definitely will allow your actions in Earth observations to go to a higher level. So perhaps that would be my opinion.
Thank you very much. Perfect timing. Ladies and gentlemen, particularly gentlemen, because Yolanda couldn't make it, but obviously you're still there, Diana. Thank you very much. It's 4 p.m. We're on time, and we still managed it with all the technical difficulties. So well done, Andres, and thank you very much to all the collaborators. Enjoy the rest of your day and your evening if it's evening there. Thanks again.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Gracias. Chao.